This is Radio Taiwan International. Welcome to the news on Radio Taiwan International. I'm Michelle Chang coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. We begin with a look at today's top stories for Monday, August 11th. The foreign minister responds to the Australia-New Zealand joint statement supporting peace. Stacked U.S. tariffs are spurring Taiwan to weigh strategic and economic leverage. And the Central Weather Administration warns of increased impacts from Typhoon Padul. But first, today's top story. Foreign Minister Lin Jialong responded to a joint statement issued on Saturday by the Prime Ministers of New Zealand and Australia, supporting peace and stability in the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea. He expressed his appreciation and gratitude, noting that the statement reiterated opposition to the use of force, intimidation, and coercion to unilaterally change the status quo. The Foreign Ministry stated that this marks the second time since August last year that Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese and New Zealand Prime Minister Christopher Luxon have jointly expressed their shared commitment. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Xiao Guangwei said,
"The statement called for resolving disputes and issues through peaceful means and expressed concern about dangerous and destabilizing provocative actions in the Taiwan Strait and the South China Sea." The leaders of New Zealand and Australia also called on all parties to reduce tensions by abiding by the principles of international law. The Foreign Ministry of Taiwan welcomes the continued expression of concern by like-minded countries for regional peace and stability in international forums.
The Foreign Ministry emphasized that Taiwan will continue to promote comprehensive diplomacy and work with like-minded partners to promote democracy, peace, and prosperity in the Indo-Pacific region. To secure the most favorable tariff rate with the U.S., the TPP caucus said Taiwan should leverage its role as a strategic hub in the First Island chain, while KMT lawmakers urged the Lai administration to fully engage with Washington. The U.S.'s reciprocal tariffs took effect on August 7th local time. Although Taiwan's provisional rate was set at 20%, it only became clear upon implementation that it would be calculated using a stacking method. This means the 20% is not a ceiling, but would be layered over other existing duties. DPP Secretary General Rosalia Wu said the cabinet had explained the stacking method in April. She added that tariff talks should be conducted as openly and transparently as possible within the limits of what can be disclosed. The Washington Post, citing trade negotiation documents, reported that U.S. officials plan to urge Taiwan, India, and Indonesia to boost defense spending or expand U.S. arms purchases. Wu said that since U.S. President Donald Trump is linking trade and security, Taiwan should use its strategic position to secure favorable terms and strengthen its role in Indo-Pacific peace and defense. KMT legislator Ko Ru-jun noted that Japan renegotiated after learning its tariffs could be stacked, ultimately winning an exemption. Taiwan should do the same, he said, adding that AI capabilities, manufacturing strength, and non-China supply chain roles are strong bargaining chips. He urged including opposition parties and industry voices in negotiations to secure the best outcome. The Central Weather Administration, or CWA, has stated that Typhoon Padul, the 11th of the year, could intensify and make landfall in either Hualien or Taitung, with a sea warning likely early on Tuesday morning. As of 8 a.m. on Monday, Padul was about 1,300 kilometers east-southeast of Taipei, moving west to west-northwest. While still at the upper limit of a Category 1 typhoon with maximum sustained winds of 108 kilometers per hour, its southward track and warmer southern seas could push it to Category 2 strength at landfall, with winds exceeding up to 150 kilometers per hour. After landfall, the storm is expected to weaken as it crosses the central mountain range, potentially downgrading to Category 1 or a tropical depression. Taiwan could exit the gale zone by the night of the 13th, with Jinmen following about a half a day later, but the CWA warned that Wednesday through Thursday morning would bring the most severe impact. Heavy to torrential rain is expected in eastern Taiwan from early Wednesday, spreading westward by afternoon, especially to the south. Hualien, Taitung, and the southern mountain areas should brace for extreme rainfall. From Wednesday to Thursday, long waves could affect the Keelung North Coast, the East Coast, Orchid Island, Green Island, the Hengsun Peninsula, and Mazu. Interior Minister Liu Shyh-fang has said that Lee Zhen-xiu, a Chinese spouse on the TPP list of at-large legislators, must renounce her Chinese nationality before taking office if she wishes to fill a legislative seat. She must also submit proof within 1 year of assuming the post to pledge her allegiance to Taiwan. On Sunday, the TPP held its party congress and voted to retain its 2-year clause, which requires at-large legislators to step down halfway through their 4-year term and be replaced by others on the party list. The rule is intended to promote transparency and keep the party's identity above any single politician. Of the TPP's 8 current at-large legislators, all but the recently appointed Liu Shyh-fang will resign in January 2026. Li, who is 15th on the list, will once again be in the spotlight over whether her nationality status will block her appointment. Citing Article 20 of the Nationality Act, Liu said nationals holding foreign citizenship must complete the renunciation of their other nationality before taking office and obtain proof of loss within 1 year.
If you are an elected public official, you must be loyal to the Republic of China. When you must be loyal to the Republic of China, we do not allow allegiance to 2 different countries. Therefore, we're handling this in accordance with Article 20 of the Nationality Act. We do not have any special administrative regulations or particular restrictions beyond that. Taiwan is a country with democratic politics and the rule of law, so please abide by the law, especially when it comes to elected public officials.
Earlier this year, the ministry found 5 village chiefs holding Chinese nationality. Hualien County's Fuli Township Shutian village chief Deng Wanhua was dismissed in August, the first such removal nationwide. Liu urged the remaining 4 to renounce Chinese nationality within a year and called on local governments to provide guidance. The recent international chikungunya outbreak has become a global health concern, with cases rapidly escalating in Guangdong province, China. Public fears that the virus could severely affect Taiwan soon were addressed by Taipei City Hospital internal medicine physician Dr. Jiang Guanyu on Monday. Jiang assured that chikungunya, like dengue fever, is transmitted by the virus-carrying Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus mosquitoes, not from person to person. Therefore, he said the focus of epidemiological investigations is on travel history, identifying possible locations of infection, and mosquito prevention and control. The recent severe flooding in southern Taiwan has heightened the possibility of a local outbreak, necessitating increased precautions. According to CDC statistics, a total of 17 overseas cases of chikungunya have been reported in Taiwan so far this year, with no domestic cases. For reported cases, the CDC will work closely with local health bureaus, which will be responsible for conducting case epidemiological investigations and emergency environmental control measures. The CDC emphasized that the key to preventing a local spread of the chikungunya virus is to prevent the breeding of mosquitoes that carry the disease in the community. Therefore, it calls on the public to implement patrol, empty, clean, and brush, and other methods to clear out stagnant water containers and to keep homes and outdoor environments clean. People who suspect they may have contracted the virus should notify local authorities. Symptoms include fever, joint and muscle pain, headache, joint swelling, and a rash that usually improve within a week. However, the joint pain has been known to last for months or even years. The risk of death is approximately 1 in 1,000, with the young, old, and people with other health issues most at risk of more severe disease. Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said that China has misinterpreted his remarks on how the Philippines will be forced into a conflict between China and Taiwan should one occur, because, quote, there is no way that the Philippines can stay out of it, end quote, due to its proximity. Beijing accused Marcos of, quote, playing with fire, end quote, after he made his statement in an interview with Indian media outlet First Post during his visit to New Delhi last week. Reuters reported Marcos Jr.'s clarifications, saying that, quote, war over Taiwan will drag the Philippines kicking and screaming into the conflict, end quote. He also pointed out his suspicions that he was misinterpreted for propaganda reasons. Quote, I'm a little bit perplexed why it would be characterized as such as playing with fire, end quote, he added. China and the Philippines have engaged in a series of clashes in the South China Sea, with Beijing claiming sovereignty over almost the entire area despite international rulings that this claim has no legal basis. China's embassy in Manila has not responded to a request for comment on President Marcos Jr.'s remarks. Thanks for joining me for the news. I'm Michelle Chang. Stay tuned for another 50 minutes of English language features brought to you by Radio Taiwan International.
Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, SoundOn Podcast, Spotify. You name it, we're on it. You can find selected shows produced by RTI's English team on different streaming services. All you have to do is search for the show or type RTI. Find an episode you find interesting, hit play, and you'll learn more about Taiwan and its people.